Hello and welcome from Pink Petro TV studios near Washington, D.C. I'm Dave Gardy. And with me also via Skype from Houston, Texas is Katie Maynard. Katie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Katie's founder and CEO of Pink Petro, an innovative social learning platform that connects and develops women in the energy industries and includes men in the process. Katie, tell us a little bit about Pink Petro.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave. Pink Petro is an online social business community exclusively developed to help women advance in the industry. We launched about a year ago. We're coming up on our year anniversary, just as our industry started to see a steep decline, probably the largest decline we've seen since the 1980s. Since our launch, we've had over 21 countries get involved, members from all over the world, hundreds of members and tens of thousands of people following. So it's been a really exciting year to get the community off the ground.
Well, congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment, especially in a year when everybody needs those kind of resources to connect, especially with what's going on in the market. What we're going to do right now is go to a video about Pink Petro, and I think we're going to have that clip come up right now.
There are more women out there than we think, and using Pink Petro and social technology is helping to do that. It's designed to unite, to connect, develop, and grow women working across the energy value chain. Ultimately, Pink Petro is a resource to help correct the gender imbalance and get at gender balance in the industry faster.
In any industry, you have to have the long view. We each have a responsibility to make sure that we keep our skills sharp. The value of Pink Petro is that it creates a platform having real conversations with other people who are going through the same thing you're going through.
Excellent video, and that, of course, was the mayor of Houston commenting on Pink Petro. Katie, tell us what you've got planned for your first anniversary. I understand you got something big going.
Yeah, we're really excited. On March 1st, we will be we're launching the first annual HERWorld Energy Forum. It'll be live out of Halliburton's facility in Houston, their global headquarters. And as you know, we're going to be broadcasting that, live streaming that out on Pink Petro TV to our members worldwide. It's a complimentary event for them. And just in the last 3 days, we've really seen a tremendous response. A number of groups have come together in Pittsburgh and in Europe and in Asia and all over the world to bring women and men together to participate in this day-long learning event. It's certainly exciting to be able to use the digital technology in a time like this.
Excellent. So we've got some guests online that you've invited to this pre-event forum of the forum. That's what's going to happen. You want to introduce them?
No, absolutely. So none of this could have happened. I can't do this by myself. So this has definitely taken a village. And today we've actually got a couple of people. We've got Cindy Patman from Halliburton, Deborah Stewart from Shell, Jim Marchiori from University of Colorado, Denver, the Global Energy Management Program. And then we have a pre-recorded interview from Regina Mayer, who's with KPMG. Are you guys there? Hey there. It's good to have you.
Here.
Awesome.
You're here.
Great.
Wonderful. Well, why don't we just get started? I think there are a lot of people out there that really want to know what this is about. We've done a really good job of hyping it. So now we've got to come clean and talk about what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to turn to you, Cindy. First of all, I want to thank you so much for supporting us and hosting at Halliburton. The facility there is absolutely gorgeous, state of the art. But I'm wondering, what do you think are some of the benefits of of attending HERWorld, and what are some of your thoughts around what we're going to be doing that day and your expectations?
Well, Katie, first of all, thank you. Halliburton is a proud sponsor of HERWorld and of Pink Petro, and have been since the beginning, and we truly believe in this organization and are super, super excited to be there. We live and work in a digital age these days. It makes a lot of sense to hold a forum like that brings us together in all corners of the globe. I think the benefit of attending this is very clear. HERWorld's going to provide great speakers, relevant insights, and accessibility. It's going to be an awesome, awesome event. And HERWorld is also a complement to Pink Petro because it brings people together so that they can leave with a learning but continue to crowdsource the conversations afterwards online and on the platform. And that's what it's all about, is continuing those conversations. As you know, Katie, there's lots of things going on in our industry. Lots of changes. So there's plenty of opportunity for conversation for sure.
Well, great. You bring up a good point, and I know as Halliburton, Shell, all of the industry is going through this downturn. I know this isn't your first. It's not my first. I know it's not actually anybody's first on this call. You've been a big supporter of STEM initiatives, big supporter of building a pipeline of talent for the future. What is your advice to give to others about their careers at this point? There are a lot of people out there that are hungry to connect, and they're hungry to really know what can they be doing to continue in the industry.
Yeah, it's there's so much advice I'd like to give around careers and things, and I do care about bringing more women into this industry. But my first piece of advice is that no one controls the market. I mean, we don't know where the prices are going to be. We can't predict that. We have to learn to control what we can control. And the one very important thing that we can control is how we respond individually. And I believe that you've got to keep your sword sharp and stay fresh. Right now is a great time to connect with others. It's a great time to keep those connections open and develop and concentrate on your development. So we're very excited. HERWorld's going to be a great outlet for that. For those that are going to be present, they're going to walk away with some tremendous, tremendous development opportunities, connection opportunities, and it's going to be great.
Well, great. Thank you so much for your insight. Development, I know, is a core theme here, and obviously all four of our guests here today, I think even obviously Dave, you too, we all believe in the development and progression of people, and that's very important in our industry. Shell, I know Deborah has an ongoing commitment to developing people, to developing the pipeline. I'm kind of curious, because of your learning focus, and because you've been involved with us, since the start, how do you think Pink Petro and HERWorld are different?
Well, thank you so much for the question, Katie, and we are so excited to be involved with Pink Petro and with HERWorld. We do invest a lot of time and energy in learning, not only for Shell staff, but also for students who might be the future Shell employees, and for small businesses and diverse suppliers in our supply chain. We have been supporters from the beginning of Pink Petro because we believe in innovation in learning as well as in technology and the other things that make our business run. Pink Petro and HERWorld are unique opportunities because they are about connecting using social technology. So Pink Petro isn't your typical organization. It's a community that's focused on social learning. And we invest in HERWorld because it is a one-of-a-kind experience. It's never been done, and we're just thrilled to be a part of bringing it to life.
That's awesome. So you just said the magic words, it's never been done. So no pressure here, right, Dave? We've got to make sure that on March 1st, all that technology works. No, so Deborah, I know things have been really, 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 really difficult, and times have been tough, and over $380 billion, I think was the statistic I read the other day, in new projects have been deferred in the past 18 months. What role do you think innovation is going to play in the recovery, and how do you see the workforce and the supply chain changing? You guys are real big into this right now.
Oh, for sure. You know, innovation is what's going to keep this industry moving forward into the next chapter. If we look back over the last few years, I mean, really, innovation has been a huge contributor to the energy renaissance. Things like horizontal and directional drilling and hydrofracking. I mean, these practices have been part of the innovation that has helped us, and frankly, has contributed to the increase in oil and gas supply that may have been part of this cycle, or that has been part of this cycle. But innovation just really helps to drive our industry, and diversity will be a key piece of how this plays out in the future. Diversity is not just about gender or color or nationality. It's about diversity of thought. And operating in a low-price environment, obviously it's very difficult for all of us, but it can really create opportunities, especially for companies and their people, and especially for their suppliers who are ready to get creative, to get innovative, to think transformationally, and to bring about the next level of technological and business transformation that's going to take this business to the next place. This was true after the 1980s, and I think it will be the case after we begin to climb back to more stable prices as well.
Awesome. Well, so we've talked about two of my favorite topics so far. We've talked innovation, creativity, actually three topics, creativity and diversity. These are all different topics, actually, we're going to talk about at HERWorld. We have a number of speakers. We'll have Alex Epstein, who's a tremendous pro-energy policy expert. He's going to be a part of our program from Washington, D.C. We've got actually a Shell drilling engineer, I believe, who's going to be Skyped in from Australia, which is just amazing. And she's got a great talk on diversity and unconscious bias. I mean, really, it's kind of neat to see that we can bring some of these very diverse topics and have a fruitful conversation. So the one piece that I'm really also excited about is the technology. And I'm going to turn this to Jim now, because I know you're going to be on my technology panel. I'm very, very excited. You know, to be honest with you, I didn't know about the University of Colorado Denver until I started, hearing about you, and you guys are doing some really, really, really innovative things. How are you utilizing technology to bring energy professionals to come together to learn?
Well, we use it in a lot of ways, but it's really core to what we do. I wanted to just, listening to the prior conversations, though, just to go back to the issue of the 80s and the downturn in the 80s. That's kind of the root of the GEM program. This program was developed by 4 oil and gas operating companies, primarily here in Denver, back in the 2008-2009 timeframe, specifically because of all the hiring downturns and all the talent gaps that occurred going back to the 80s when we went several years in the industry and didn't hire people. And the people who would have been hired then would have been ready to move into management, but couldn't because they weren't there. So the reason for the GEM program to begin with was to accelerate that development, try to fill those gaps in talent. So as we head into as we're in another downturn, it's something to be mindful of. But with the technology, we run in what's called a hybrid format. So what that means is that our students are with us for 6 academic quarters. Each quarter they come to the business school for a 4-day intensive weekend of class time. They go 40 hours from Friday morning till Monday night. Then the rest of that 9-week quarter is all done online. So we literally live and die with our technology. During that 9 weeks when they're not physically here in Denver, the students run group meetings, they run their projects, they do presentations, all online in their own time across multiple time zones and multiple continents. Because what the hybrid format does is it creates a situation where they have very intensive experiences with their peers and with their instructors, but then they can still live and work anywhere in the world. And most of our students are mid-career, so they're already fully employed in the industry. So, even though the latest graduation that we had about a month ago in January, one of the student speakers that was chosen by the other students to deliver one of the addresses happened to be in Geneva, and so he delivered his address via a big screen in front of the hall to his peers and to their families, and everybody went crazy with that because they love to have that kind of thing.
Well, I'm really, I'm excited because when I spoke with you guys and actually did a little bit of research, I did a little Googling, I found out that you've got this Coursera class. It's for free, essentially. And I know that we live in the age of free. Everyone's looking for, the internet revolution has definitely benefited the consumer, and we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that and the whole piece around machines and the industrial intranet and internet and how that all fits into play, because I believe we've got some speakers from GE that will be there, and we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking with Jive about collaboration technology. But I'm amazed at how far we've come, just in the last 5 years with learning. And I'm real excited about us talking about how things have been disrupted in this space. So that's part of what's we're actually going to tackle is some of these topics around learning and innovation and diversity and the like. So I'm really excited that we've got, all of you coming. Now, at this point, I think I'm going to turn to Dave. We've got some pre-recorded interview, I understand, from one of our keynotes, Regina Mayer with KPMG.
Yes, that's correct, Katie. She's the national senior leader or sector leader for energy, natural resources, and chemicals. And I had the pleasure of speaking with her earlier this week. And here's a video clip of that interview. Hi, I'm Dave Gardy from Pink Petro Studios near Washington, D.C. for this special interview prior to the HERWorld Energy Forum on March 1st. And with me on the phone right now is Regina Mayer, who's the National Sector Leader for Energy and Natural Resources and Chemicals for KPMG. Regina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
HERWorld is approaching, and you are the keynote speaker in the morning. Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean on your topic when you say inclusive workforces?
Well, Dave, the energy workforce of today is at an inflection point, specifically with the aging demographic, where we anticipate that a number of very seasoned resources will be retiring in the next few years. That trend is being accelerated by the fact that commodity prices are incredibly low compared to where they were off of a high in June of 2014, and there's quite a lot of uncertainty and volatility in the sector. People become more and more important in that type of an environment. And what energy companies need to do is to ensure they have the right talent for the future and that they're fostering a very diverse and very inclusive workforce to meet the challenges of the future. The technologies are advancing very rapidly. The ability to make analytically based but quick and nimble decisions in this environment, and the ability to work cross-border and globally on a collaborative basis. So what my talk will discuss are what are some of those leading companies doing, what does a very effective, diverse, and inclusive workforce look like, and how should one adapt and innovate for the future.
Excellent. Now, with the ongoing changes in the workforce due to the downturn, what role do you think women will play in the talent pool of the future?
Well, Dave, today women play an absolutely critical role in the energy workforce, and I would only anticipate that will become increasingly important. I think it's almost less about the gender and more about the globality of how the workforce will come together. So the role of women and the role of team members working together cross-border, male and female, of all types of races and genders and perspectives become incredibly important. So women are important today in the energy workforce, and I would only see that trend continuing. But I think it's much broader than just the role that women themselves play, but what the rest of the workforce might look like as we have multi-generations and a far more global and international workforce in play.
Excellent. Well, we certainly look forward to your keynote. Again, we've been speaking with Regina Mayer, who is the National Sector Leader for Energy and Natural Resources and Chemicals for KPMG. Thank you for joining us, Regina.
Thank you very much.
And we'll go back to the other webcasts and the pre-event in preparation for the HERWorld Energy Forum on March 1st. Thank you for joining us. Dave, throwing it to Dave. So we didn't tell anybody about this, but believe it or not, we did get a question, and there is a question link on there. Sarah from Enbridge Energy Partners asked, can you explain the timeline of the agenda? I want to understand who's speaking, the topic, and time, and maybe a quick synopsis of that again, Katie.
Sure. So first of all, if you go to pinkpetro.com and you click on the HERWorld link, which is actually at the top of the website, we have a full agenda listed by timeline. We will start at 8:30 promptly Central Time. And we will have a number of locations that will be either ahead of us, so 6 hours ahead, 8 hours ahead, an hour ahead. Some locations will not get the full live event because they've chosen not to participate in the middle of the night. But after the fact, we will make the archive available on demand so that folks can access it. But let me just give you a broad brush. We will start the day with Regina Mayer. She's going to talk about diversity and inclusive workforces. We're going to move into a policy panel where we'll have Alex Epstein from Washington will join David Holt, who is the president of the Consumer Energy Alliance. We'll have Peggy Montana, who's a board member with Shell Midstream, former CEO of Shell Midstream, and the former head of policy at Marathon Oil, Eileen Campbell. After that, we're going to switch gears and actually move into the technology discussion. So we'll have the COO of GE Oil and Gas, Jody Markopoulos, will be with us, and we'll talk about the industrial intranet and big data and all this great topics around technology. We'll have Catherine Everest from Jive Software, who will be talking about collaboration and work style and how that's playing a role in the future of work. And we'll have Jim. Jim will also be contributing to the conversation around disruptions in learning and how we can learn more effectively and leverage the digital age. We're going to break at some point, which is a good thing. And after the break, we're going to actually get into more workforce diversity topics. We'll have a number of topics around what we're calling petropreneurship, the notion that entrepreneurs are emerging as a part of this downturn. So what does that look like? We'll have a number of folks on that panel. I understand Janine Judah will be joining us from the Society of Professional Engineers. We'll talk to her about how the workforce is shaping some of the associations and the work that the professional societies are doing. Fred Whipple from Shell will be with us, and he'll talk a little bit about the supply chain piece and all the work that Shell has been doing in the space of supply chain transformation and entrepreneurship and how that's shaping and playing out in the downturn. We'll have a fantastic, I forgot to mention, speaker from Houston, actually, Karen McCullough, who does a really bang-up job, great job on international, all kinds of different topics, but she'll be talking about the role that women play and the future she sees from a generational perspective. And then we're going to round out the day and have our speaker from Australia, Yasmin, will actually be Skyping in from Brisbane, and she'll talk about allyship and gender bias and biases and how can we work together and create the new workforce, so to speak. Quite an impressive lady. She's a drilling engineer. She's an author. She's a speaker. I don't know where she gets all of her energy from. So we're going to have quite a lineup. It's going to be, I think, a lot of fun. We're going to involve the audience. We'll be asking you guys to ask questions. And then, of course, the conversation will continue on Pink Petro. If you're a member, you'll get to have that conversation while we're interacting. But if you're not a member, we encourage you to join today and participate in the conversations. So I hope that answers the question. It's a long answer, but I did that too without looking at my notes. So hopefully I didn't forget anybody or single out anybody on the agenda. But we have just an amazing lineup.
Well, thank you again. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. Again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in today to talk with Jim, Deborah, and Cindy, and Katie. And we look forward to seeing everybody on March 1st. Thank you, everybody, online here. I'm Dave Gardy from Pink Petro TV studios near Washington, D.C. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you March 1st.
We believe women bring a unique perspective to the world, and we want to harness it.
We believe in diversity, not just in a gender, but in generations, ethnicities, and cultures.
We believe by connecting our community to high-quality resources and learning, we will create an energy workforce
that is engaged, empowered, and inspired. We aspire to put a human face on an industry
that has quietly powered some of the most amazing technologies and innovations of our time.
We unite, connect, develop, and grow women in energy.
We are Pink Petro.